Before we get started, as we do with official city business, of which this is one, we need to take a roll of the city council that's here today. So I'll take a moment to recognize them individually. I'd ask that they would stand, and then you please hold your applause until I'm finished with that. Councilor Marshall Selberg. Did Marshall sleep in? Okay. Councilor Alex Jensen. There he is, Councilor Marshall Selberg. Everyone. Councilor Pat Starr. Councilor Janet Brecky. Councilor Kurt Sale. Councilor Greg Neitzer. Councilor Christine Erickson, and Councilor Rick Kiley. Please give these folks a round of applause, please. Also, council members, thank you for your dedication and your energy you provide to your roles to help guide our city. I want to express a special thanks to Councilors Rick Kiley and Christine Erickson, who will be terming out here in the next 30 days or so. I'm going to go off script a little bit. I'd like you guys to come up here for a moment, if you would. So please come up here. Yeah? So, as you know, we have a tradition that I started when I got into office where we provide challenge coins to people in our community who embody the core values of our city. These have been two incredible public servants. It's been a real joy to serve with these two folks. They're in the job for the right reasons. There's no drama with them. They have a long list of accomplishments that they brought forward and done, and they've just been great public servants. And I can tell you, fresh off a Tuesday night as we were last night, this is a hard job, and it's a sacrifice for your family, for someone like Christine who has young kids at home. It's a difficult job. So I want to thank them. I want to present them each with a challenge coin. So please help me in thanking them. I also want to introduce my kids that are here today. You guys stand up quick. Jade loves this, I'm sure. Nora really does, actually. Jade, Max, and Nora are here with me today, so thanks, guys. You can have a seat. We got here on time, alone, because my wife, Jill, she's actually unable to be here today. She's in Minneapolis pursuing some continuing education courses and is planning to get back into our workforce because we need employees. So no one's safe in our house. Jill sends her best and regrets that she can't be here. All right, before we get started with the official address, I'd ask that you stand for our Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, welcome to the 2022 State of the City Address. A special welcome to members of the council, city employees, community leaders, members of the inaugural Mayor's Youth Council and their families, and also the residents of Sioux Falls that are here today. Thank you for joining us. I'm excited to deliver my fourth State of the City address to you today. And I've never been more proud of Sioux Falls as a community or more optimistic about the direction in which our great city is headed. The past year has been a historic one for our city. Thriving economy, bustling arts and culture scene, record-shattering population growth. In the past year, nearly 7,000 people moved to Sioux Falls. Many returned to reestablish their roots in their hometown. Many more were drawn to Sioux Falls because of the incredible community that we've built. Newcomers like Brian and Catherine Robinson, who chose to make their home in Sioux Falls in January after an extensive search across the nation. Brian and Catherine are actually with us today. If you guys would stand up, give them a round of applause. Yeah. Brian and Catherine say they're fortunate enough to live anywhere, but they chose Sioux Falls. A retired diplomat and small business owner, Brian has lived overseas in South Africa, Kenya, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Thailand. So why Sioux Falls? Like many of our residents, the Robinsons are excited to share what makes Sioux Falls so appealing. A great community spirit, a vibrant downtown, a robust economy, low crime, low cost of living, great health care, an easily accessible airport, so many opportunities to get involved in this community. Our community is special, and people like Brian and Catherine continue to decide to build their lives here. We welcome you to our community, and we're glad you've made Sioux Falls home. Whether you've called Sioux Falls home your whole life, or you are a recent transplant, this isn't by coincidence. It's a choice. As mayor, I've had an opportunity to meet many of you and learn the stories about how you have made a home in Sioux Falls. Each of you play an important role in our ongoing success story. You are what makes the city what we are today, and you help us build an even better Sioux Falls for the future. It's thanks to my predecessors and decades of community leaders who have worked to align vision and unity for a common good across Sioux Falls. The spirit of partnership and quality of life emphasis here has elevated Sioux Falls' quality of life and earned our city and region the top rankings as the best place to live, to start a business, to raise a family, and even to retire. To continue our success as a community, it requires a thriving economy full of opportunities for its residents. 2021 was a historic year for Sioux Falls. We hit new records one after another, including surpassing $1 billion in building permit valuations. The city achieved its lowest debt per capita in more than a decade. Commerce thrived with sales tax growth exceeding, listen to this, 19%, a high we haven't seen in 39 years. New businesses opened and existing businesses expanded in 2021. Growth in major investments in the city's core, including Sharapa Place 2 and the Steel District, and north to Foundation Park, where Amazon is making its first investment in South Dakota. Sioux Falls' strong economy, our resiliency during the pandemic, and our quality of life led to record population growth this past year. Managing this growth takes a great deal of planning, and I'm grateful for the city teams that keep our city moving forward. The pressures of growth led to new public investments. We moved forward quality of life investments like expanding our bike trail. We also made significant commitments to public safety with the opening of a Southwest Law Enforcement Report to Work station and a Southeast Fire Rescue station to improve response times in southern Sioux Falls. Population growth comes with challenges that are further strained by the current global economic pressures that are around us. Like cities across the country, Sioux Falls is faced with uncertainty and with challenges. We are not insulated from instability around the globe. Inflationary pressures on basic living expenses like food, utilities and gas, housing availability and affordability, and childcare impacts all of us. The reality is that these challenges are widespread tensions that are occurring and further amplified due to our population and business growth. The City of Sioux Falls and our partners across the region are working hard to continue moving our community forward. We have and are continuing to take thoughtful and sustainable actions to make Sioux Falls stronger and economically viable. Thanks to smart decision-making and fiscal responsibility, we are poised to meet today's challenges and opportunities. In a fast-paced world, strategic investments as a city are absolutely critical, and thoughtful planning, agility, and relationship building are integral to that growth. I cannot think of a better example of this than the opportunity we have today to invest in Dakota State University's new cyber research initiative. 2 months ago, Dakota State University, along with Governor Noe, members of our federal delegation, and other community leaders announced plans for a transformational investment in cyber research for both Madison, South Dakota, and Sioux Falls. This investment is a collaborative public-private partnership that includes the state of South Dakota, the Board of Regents, T. Denny Sanford, Sanford Health, Forward Sioux Falls, and of course, the city of Sioux Falls. There's never been a more critical time to invest in cybersecurity. Global events like the Russian-Ukraine crisis only reinforce the importance of protecting cyber assets throughout the world. Through this strategic investment, we are setting the stage to strengthen our economy for decades by diversifying our workforce with a new industry, adding at least 500 six-figure jobs to our region, and providing competitive cybersecurity jobs right here in Sioux Falls. DSU graduates like Joe Wanutka say it's exciting to see the university take this momentous step forward with cyber research. After working on the East Coast for several years, Joel, a 2014 DSU grad, moved back to South Dakota last year with his wife and 2 kids to work at the Madison Cyber Labs. He sees the project as a great opportunity to provide high-caliber jobs for DSU grads and attract talent from across the nation. And I believe Joel is with us today. Joel, could you stand up, please? Joel is not here today, but he's a good guy. Met him. As mayor, I'm constantly looking for ways that we can keep South Dakotans in our state for college and as they enter the workforce. Projects like this create a pipeline for South Dakota talent to stay in South Dakota where their friends and family live. We actually heard Morgan say that exact same thing when she was up here on the panel. It's a historic, groundbreaking investment that I'm proud to champion. I'm thankful for the council leadership for seeing this long-term vision of this project and moving plans forward to invest $10 million into this initiative. This investment will be a legacy-defining moment for our community and for our state. During my first 4 years as mayor, I prioritized infrastructure, roads, and bridge needs of Sioux Falls. Since taking office, my administration has invested almost $173 million into road construction projects. In 2021 alone, 938 blocks of roads were upgraded, a new record for our city. In downtown, signs of major investments are clear. Just take a look at our skyline. Cranes in downtown and across the community are visible markers that people are investing in our future. The city's upcoming road construction projects in downtown are complementing past and current investments from both the public and private sectors. Last year, we completed restorations to the 8th Street Bridge, including improvements to traffic flow and walkability, and adding lighting to the arches to complement the Arc of Dreams. These improvements have made the bridge even more of a destination in our downtown. Next year, we'll begin work on finalizing design plans for the 6th Street Bridge, just to the north, which we will propose naming Unity Bridge, and will pay tribute to leaders who exhibit the community spirit that makes Sioux Falls a welcoming home to all. The city is also preparing to reconstruct Minnesota Avenue from Russell Street to 18th Street in a phased process to bring new life to this central corridor and the gateway into our downtown. Along with the curb-to-curb reconstruction is an update to the aging water infrastructure that's also located in the right-of-way. The water main there alone carries 40% of the city's water. When complete, you will enjoy a more pedestrian-friendly Minnesota Avenue with expanded walkways and added landscaping, benches, and decorative lighting. Work will begin from Russell to 2nd Street this year and will continue south to 7th Street next year. Perhaps the most talked about project in 2022 is the reconstruction of 41st Street from Marion Road to Shirley Avenue, including the Interstate 29 interchange. The South Dakota Department of Transportation and the city are coordinating on the design and reconstruction for this 2-year project. Work will begin on the west side of the interchange in late March and on the east side in 2023. The finished roadway will feature new turn lanes in all directions, 6 total traffic lanes, and a center median for improved safety, capacity, and traffic flow. The interchange bridge will widen to add additional lanes, allowing the installation of Sioux Falls' first diverging diamond interchange. Traffic on 41st Street will be open throughout the work, but there will be delays and periodic ramp closures throughout the project, so just be ready for that. We're also investing in multiple projects to accommodate the expanding boundaries of Sioux Falls. That includes reconstructing and widening the intersection of 6 Mile Road and Arrowhead Parkway this year. Starting in 2023, we plan to reconstruct the Veterans Parkway and Arrowhead Parkway intersection. These roadway investments across Sioux Falls, from the 6th Street Bridge downtown to major arterial streets like Minnesota Avenue, will improve driving conditions and traffic capacity to keep pace with our growing community. I mentioned earlier that where Sioux Falls is positioned today is not by accident. We are a visionary community that comes together to move Sioux Falls forward. The foresight, the leadership, and planning of past and present community leaders has resulted in the city that we know and love today. Today, that ball is in our court. We are the leaders determined to make Sioux Falls an even better community. As a council, an administration, and a wider community of leaders, we have the determination, along with the forward-thinking mindset, to improve this great city. Sioux Falls is embarking on projects with continued strategic planning, such as the revitalization of the city's core. We are investing in quality of life assets, including Phase 3 of the River Greenway, a transformational project to include development of public gathering spaces along the river and reconstruction of the Lowhead Dam at Falls Park to improve safety and recreation on the river. This project will complement the development at the Steel District and is scheduled to begin construction in the fall of this year. Another significant downtown development is Jacobson Plaza at Falls Park. This will become a regional destination in downtown and will feature a refrigerated ice ribbon at the region's first inclusive playground. This is a preview of the ice ribbon. Watch for more details in the coming weeks on this exciting project. The momentum of downtown is at its best right now with new investments and rejuvenation, but there's still more that we can accomplish. As city leaders, we are envisioning downtown's future during the next decade through the creation of the Downtown 2035 plan. This will help shape the skyline of downtown for the next generation and create the most vibrant downtown in the Midwest. All you have to do is take a stroll down Phillips Avenue to be reminded of what makes our downtown so special. The vibrancy that comes from the variety of retail stores and businesses, inspiring artwork from Sculpture Walk, a nationally recognized food scene, our renovated State Theater, a robust arts and entertainment scene that includes places like the Washington Pavilion and the Levitt Shell, just to name a few. The energy of downtown continues to attract people to our city, like Joel Kaskinen, a young professional originally from Michigan who moved to Sioux Falls in July of last year. Joel was living in Colorado and looking for a change, and after spending time in Sioux Falls one weekend, he knew Sioux Falls was the right fit, and now he lives and works in downtown. It's easy to make connections here, he says. And I believe Joel is here, isn't he? Joel, hey buddy, stand up. Welcome, Joel. Like Joel, thousands of people are now calling downtown Sioux Falls their home. The heart of our city continues to add housing opportunities that is resulting in more density downtown and feeding the thriving commerce of downtown. As we develop the 2035 plan, we'll be looking at ways to better foster housing, office, retail, and dining growth in that area. I'm excited to see how downtown continues to evolve, and I'm excited for the new opportunities it creates for our residents and for visitors. This past year, I had the pleasure of meeting countless residents through Sioux Falls. A common topic of conversation, and it continues to be a common topic, is that of public safety. The people of Sioux Falls expect a safe community, and the city has delivered on that expectation. We are making a long-term investment in our public safety personnel through our new public safety training campus, which is planned to be completed in the fall of next year. Sioux Falls continues to be a safe community, and our public safety teams are committed to make Sioux Falls a better and safer community every day. We are fortunate that the city's crime rate has remained low, especially when compared to our peer communities. Last year, when many cities across the nation saw increases in crime, most crime categories in Sioux Falls remained flat. While issues such as narcotics and youth violent crime will remain public safety priorities, I'm proud of our community-based policing that is building strong ties across the community. In fact, going off script, Morgan mentioned her conversation with Lieutenant Siebenborn. It's what attracted her to that position. Our officers going into the schools, community-based policing, SRO programs. But we're also continuing to work with our community partners to address root causes that lead to crime. Community resources like the Link to improve treatment for those who are addicted, those are more important than ever. We're also at near full staffing in our police department and continue to devote resources to recruitment and to retention. The department is authorized for 284 full-time sworn police officers, and we continually recruit to fill vacancies, adding 129 officers since 2018. Having a fully staffed police department allows us to serve the community and provide the highest level of public safety to our residents. As a community, we are relying on our partnership spirit to address challenging issues like housing and workforce. There's no question that housing is one of our community's most pressing needs right now. I'm often asked to provide the silver bullet answer to solve our housing problem. I wish it were that easy. This is a multifaceted issue that requires a multifaceted approach. There are many dynamics at play, including supply chain issues, material and labor shortages, and significant inflationary pressures. While there are certainly local solutions, we also need to work with our federal partners in our efforts. Know that this community has and will continue to develop the right partnerships for making impactful progress in this area of work. Housing is one of my administration's key priorities. In fact, it has been part of the One Sioux Falls framework since I took office in 2018. Our 2026 Housing Action Plan serves as a blueprint to address today's challenges. Partnerships are a critical facet of that plan, and I want to highlight two examples of how we made progress thus far. First, we've partnered with the Southeastern Development Foundation to expand housing opportunities for families by repurposing existing housing inventory. This is an example of how the city is using every tool available and leaning on great partners to address housing challenges. Through this partnership, we have extensively renovated homes and relocated them from a flood zone to the former Boys and Girls Club land on 13th and Sneeve Avenue. We plan to move additional renovated houses to the site this year, along with several governor's homes for income-qualified individuals and families. We're also tackling housing with another innovative project, tiny homes for homeless veterans. This is through the Veterans Community Project. And this development will help address that need and also foster community amongst our vets. Phase 1 includes 20 tiny homes, and planning is underway for Phase 2 already. We owe so much to our veterans, and projects like this are an impactful way the city can help our veterans right here in Sioux Falls. Partnership and collaboration to solve challenges. That is what Sioux Falls is best at. Our community is working together to create a stronger and more vibrant Sioux Falls, and that includes working collaboratively to help those in need and foster hope for a better future. As I reflect on the past 4 years, I have many memories on the ways that this community has united to care for one another. One example that I'm incredibly honored to have been directly involved with is the establishment and opening of the doors of the link. Our community, through more than a dozen donors, including strong partnerships between the City of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, Avera, and Sanford, came together to fund this initiative that is changing and saving lives in our community. Since its doors opened in just June of last year, the link has already served more than 1,100 people and is fast approaching 3,000 visits. It's a beacon of hope for those in crisis who are struggling with mental health challenges and addiction. I hear story after story about how the link is changing lives. One patient was referred to treatment after struggling with meth. He went through the withdrawal management program and left this note for our staff at the link. Quote, "Thank you so much for everything. You guys saved my life, and I will forever be grateful." The link is making an impact in the lives of some of our community's most vulnerable individuals, even after they leave the building's doors. A community that cares. That is Sioux Falls. We are a community that not only cares about our neighbor, but also welcomes diverse cultures and backgrounds. We celebrate our cultural diversity as a strength of our community. As our community grows and new residents call Sioux Falls home, the cultures, traditions, and experiences in our community become a richer tapestry. In my role as mayor, I have the opportunity to attend many cultural celebrations across Sioux Falls. It's been a focus of mine to meet individuals with faith traditions and backgrounds that are different than my own. One of those individuals I have thoroughly enjoyed building a relationship with is Rabbi Mendel Aperovitz. Before Rabbi Mendel and his family moved to Sioux Falls in 2017, Sioux Falls and our Jewish population was without a rabbi. The impact was felt in the Jewish community in Sioux Falls. During the past few years, Rabbi Mendel has shared with me that the community has experienced and seen new growth in life. Rabbi Mendel also speaks to the welcoming nature of Sioux Falls. He says, "It's been a very meaningful journey so far. I felt very welcomed here in Sioux Falls." And I know Rabbi Mendel is with us today too. Rabbi Mendel, give him a round of applause. There are also many stories of Sioux Falls residents who left after growing up here only to return and rediscover why Sioux Falls is home. For Vince Don, a young entrepreneur who grew up in Sioux Falls and returned after attending Loyola University in Chicago, he found a community more culturally diverse than the one he grew up in. I've had the chance to get to know Vince as an organizer of Lunar Fest, a celebration in our community of the Lunar New Year, the start of the Asian lunar calendar. Vince contemplated moving back to Chicago, but recently decided he wants to make Sioux Falls his long-term home. Vince, where are you at, buddy? There's Vince. So why does Vince want to stay in Sioux Falls? Well, our well-connected startup community, great leadership opportunities, a strong spirit of mentorship. Vince shared with me that these markers of our community have drawn him to stay and make an impact through mentorship and getting involved with our startup ecosystem. Whether it's through the Sioux 52 mentoring initiative or taking time to make connections and notice others, our city is fast becoming known as a community of mentors. So many residents are passionate about mentoring and giving back. Vince says this, quote, "I believe in leaving this world a net positive balance. The way I'll do that is I'll continue to learn, I'll share what I learn, and I'll build bridges with other people." That's the heart of it. We often don't realize the profound impact that we have when we make time to stop, to notice people, and to invest in their lives. My colleague, Jeff Eckhoff, the city's planning director, Jeff mentors a fourth grade student at Laura Wilder through the Teammates Mentoring Program. The student mentioned to Jeff in one of their visits that he had an upcoming orchestra concert. So Jeff checked with the school and made plans to attend. And as an aside, attending a fourth grade orchestra concert, that shows you the heart of Jeff Eckhoff. Well, Jeff had celebrity status when he entered the gym. The student spotted him right away, yelled his name, ran across the gym to greet him. "You made it, you're here." he said. He gave Jeff a high five. There are so many stories of how mentoring relationships are strengthening our community and empowering residents across all ages and backgrounds. As a city, we look forward to formalizing our partnership with the Helpline Center in downtown Rotary to continue to support mentorship growth in Sioux Falls. The welcoming nature of Sioux Falls is part of our DNA, and it's really what makes Sioux Falls, Sioux Falls. We're also a family-friendly city, and we continue to create a community to better meet families' needs. That includes fostering a community where families have access to housing that's affordable, parks to play in, and safe neighborhoods. We're also working to create a more equitable Sioux Falls for children across our community. That includes work being done to address quality of life opportunities, like increasing access to healthy foods and recreation by updating our parks, such as the revitalization that's currently happening at Hayward Park. Currently, kids in the Hayward neighborhood, they don't have a lot of outdoor spaces to play safely. Many of the homes in the neighborhood lack yards or even sidewalks, and so green space is in short supply. Hayward Elementary Principal Derek Mawson estimates it's at least a 40-minute walk to the nearest option for water recreation at Keene Pool. That's changing soon, with plans to update Hayward Park with a walking loop, expanded community garden, a new playground, spray park, and a dog park. Construction is scheduled to begin this spring and be complete by mid-August. There's also been community support to address a gap for recreational sports in one of our city's core neighborhoods. Community advocate Randall Beck was mentoring a student named Roberto at Laura B. Anderson, who loves soccer and played at school, but wasn't able to be on a soccer team. Randall decided to change that. Randall partnered with community leader Tamian Dysart and the Sioux Falls Area Community Foundation to start a community soccer league fund. Last fall, Roberto and neighborhood kids had the chance to play soccer in a league at Pioneer Park. For many, it was their first chance to play an organized sport. Just look at the joy on their faces. This league has been a huge success. There's now a goal to organize up to 10 neighborhood soccer leagues in title neighborhoods across Sioux Falls. Randall and Tamian, I know you guys are here. You guys stand up, would you? Take a little credit for that work. Thank you. A family-friendly city is a strong city. And that means building a city that's healthy, safe, and resilient. The focus areas of building a family-friendly city will benefit all residents across ages, income levels, and abilities. That's why I'm excited to share with you today an updated One Sioux Falls framework with a focus on kids and families and sustainable growth. By striving to create a city that's a great place for kids and families, we continue to create a city that's great for all. During his inauguration speech, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urged high-ranking officials to place photos of their children instead of him on their office walls. And he said, quote, "Hang pictures of your children in your office and look at them in their eyes before you make any decision." One way we can provide a more family-friendly city is through transportation. In the weeks ahead, I'll be proposing to the Public Transit Advisory Board and the City Council to make public transit system free for kids throughout this city. What would it be like if we made every decision keeping our children in mind? We would have a stronger and better Sioux Falls for everyone. Finally, we are a community that cares for our future. I mentioned earlier how we continue to make strategic investments as a city team. We're also laser focused on sustainable growth. Guided by the One Sioux Falls framework, we are working hard to manage both the opportunities and challenges of our city's growth. The tenet of sustainable growth is reflected in this updated framework. This has been a focus in our work as a city leadership team since I took office, and it's even more important today to manage the tension that growth creates. We're able to meet those opportunities and challenges because of the fiscal responsibility of this city. By making thoughtful and strategic use of taxpayer dollars today, we're best positioned to continue caring for tomorrow. We are a city that thoughtfully cares for the future, and who wouldn't want that? So today, in my fourth State of the City address since beginning my first term as mayor, I've never been more hopeful or bullish on the future of Sioux Falls. I'm confident that our community's core values and identity remain strong and that we have a very bright future ahead of us. It's clear from listening to our youth leaders earlier today from the Mayor's Youth Council just how bright that future is for Sioux Falls. The work and decisions we're making today will establish a thriving community for future generations, for our grandkids, for all who choose to make Sioux Falls their home. We're making strategic investments. We are visionary. We value safety. We collaborate and we partner. We care. We welcome. We prioritize kids and families. And we're taking care of today for a better tomorrow. So let's continue to build community, to mentor, to connect with your neighbor, and let's work to create an even better Sioux Falls together. So thank you for joining me today, and may God continue to bless this great city in the year ahead. Thank you.